Hi everyone, with HaShem's help, you're listening to another edition of Pele Yoetz, and I know it's been quite some time since we've done this, but I just feel like I need to come back to home. And as many of you know, Pele Yoetz that's it for me. Like this is, there's just something about learning Pele Yoetz that it kind of makes you feel like the world will be okay. It almost seems like everything is going topsy-turvy, but if you just stick back with the sages and they will just smooth the path out and just make it a better ride. And the last time we spoke, we were speaking about the plague. And since then, it's just been a whole whirlwind of activity that's been going on in my own life. And thankfully, I really thank HaShem for all the opportunities he's given me. But this really is home base for me, teaching these classes, which I love. And I just want to thank everyone who has supported me through the process. And I would say their names individually, but I have a feeling I'm going to forget somebody. So I don't want to have anybody feel bad. But I really want to say thank you for everyone who supported me through my journey and just have been a tremendous hizuk for me. So we're going to talk today about rejecting others. And it states, it has already been stated that rejecting others is not a good thing, as it is written in Mishlei 3:28. Do not say to your friend, go and come back tomorrow and I will give you. It is also written in Mishlei 13:12, a languishing hope causes illness of the heart, and is written in Tehillim 15:2, and he speaks truth in his heart. And this teaches us that a person must say with his mouth that which is in his heart. So, I mean, there's this saying, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. But we're about to find out that that's not always the case. And it's funny because sometimes it seems like we're learning stuff from the sages and it seems like they say something and then they go back. But again, now I'm getting ready to say a concept you probably haven't heard in a while. And that's when you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Right. And I think that's where common sense, which, we assume that everyone just has common sense. But as a lot of us know, common sense is not always so common. And so people get tripped up in knowing when to say something and knowing when not to say something. And so it says, nevertheless, just as it is permissible to deviate from the truth for the sake of peace, likewise, it is permissible to push people away for the sake of peace, especially in the home. Now, we're getting ready to go into a situation where hospital that you are this woman they're talking about, but surely I have a feeling like everyone either currently knows someone or has known someone in their time who is exactly what the Rav is about to say. And it says the thinking process of women is simple. And if one tells her that he will not fulfill her desire, even if he shares his pain, that he does not have the means to satisfy her entire wish. So we know that there are like what the Torah calls bad wives, right? And these are the people that the Rav says, heaven save us, who will not accept his plea and create controversy and dissent. And so we know people like that, right? Like the woman's just got to have what she's got to have. And she will say, dang it all, and doesn't care at what price it comes so long as she gets what she wants. And, it's very hard for the husband to keep up with this. And we've seen this, especially when there's economic crisis, that, the women are used to living a certain life. All of a sudden it's taken away from them. And the husbands feel this need to try to keep providing at the level and they can't. And that causes all kinds of havoc. So it states that in such situations, it is good for a man to push off a request with wise and shrewd excuses from day to day and from month to month. And he should speak kind words until heaven has compassion on him. However, where there is no issue of animosity and argument, the truth should guide his path, and he must reveal immediately the beginning of his thought and the end of his action. So, the advice here really is for the men, right? Like if you don't have that Ashes Heil, which the Torah describes, then you're not going to be able to speak freely and truthfully with your wife because it's going to cause a lot of havoc. So in this case, the Rav is saying you do have to push them off and make these excuses in order to have Shalom Bayit. But where you do have an Ashes Ha'il who is compassionate, who does understand, and who's really your helpmate, your teammate, then it is advisable for you to speak with them and say, listen, we just can't do this now, or whatever it is, and you know that you can speak truthfully with that person. So it says, this applies to those of which a man can see the end of the matter to the extent that it is in his hands. For example, if people ask him for something and he does not want to give it or do that particular thing. However, things that are in the hands of Shemaim, for example, marriages, and for a woman to a man, it's a gift from HaShem. And if matchmakers come to offer him or his son a woman, he should not reject them completely and say, I have no interest in her. Several times we have seen with our own eyes that a man despised and did not desire a certain woman at all. Yet since she was his intended, when the right time came, his heart was transformed within him to love her and marry her. These are some of the incredible things facilitated by the omniscient one who brings couples together. So it states that HaShem and HaShem alone is responsible for, putting together the right shidduch. So it says, as such a man should not say about a woman that I will not marry her, or about a city that I will not go there. A person does not know what each day will bring or what has been decreed for him from Shemaim. Therefore, when the matchmaker comes, he should deflect his offer and say, it would be this woman is sent from Shemaim for me. However, perhaps it's still premature and I still don't want to meet. If the woman wants, she can wait for me, and if not, then let her go out with someone else. Again, you should be very careful because the person you're pushing away may be your helpmate. It could be that Ashes Heil. And Has v'Shalom, you end up with the wife that the Rav was speaking about when we first opened. So it says, if rejection is a bad thing in regards to the mundane matters of the world, how much more so in regards to the words of Torah and societal improvements. There's a type of person who has intense love of triumph, such that even when he sees the truth, he still tries to maintain his opinion with vain and deceptive rationalities. So that's another trait we know far too well, right? There's some people who just feel like I have to be right at all cost. And again, they don't care either, dang it all. Like they will, and some women have a hard time with a husband like this. So obviously we see this goes on both sides. So it says, his evil is very great, for from it emerge destruction, fire, flames, hatred, animosity, violation, or forbidden things, much mockery, and the weariness of flesh. Consequently, a person should be God-fearing, acknowledge the truth and integrity at the beginning of all his conversations, and by doing so, he will blossom like a tree. Now, that's it for this chapter, but I just want to close off by saying, this last piece of advice really shouldn't just apply to men. It should be, every time I hear this, I get into the habit of doing it and then I lose it. And I got to tell you, there's one thing I want to end off my life with is building this habit of putting HaShem before a sentence. Because I feel like when we do that, it makes it less likely that you're getting ready to go and make a mistake with either with your words or with your action. So bezrat HaShem, he's going to help me with this because I really, really, really want to make this part of my midot. But I'm so glad to have done this class. Thank you again, once again, for everyone who has supported me. And I hope that we'll all be together again soon, bezrat HaShem. If you've enjoyed this video or know someone who would, please share it. Tzikku limitzvot.